Thanks for staying with us on this edition of Vision. Cedric Varner, we asked for him to come back, and he decided to come back to be with us today. Mr. William Frazier, the owner of Clean Slate Credit, LLC. Mr. Frazier, thanks for coming back to be with us on the program.
No problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
Last time we talked, we were talking about your business, and you help people to get back on track.
That's right.
And for those who need to just get started, you help them get started too. And so, just kind of give us, for those of you who missed you the last time, an overview of what you do with Clean Slate Credit.
Well, basically what I do, I use the laws that are in place to help consumers clean up their credit. It's an abundance of people out there who have needs like trying to get a house for their families, a car, and they have credit issues that have stopped them from getting the things that they want and need in the past. And I try and help them get a second chance by cleaning up their credit so that they can get those things that they need for their families.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, America, is about the American dream. Part of the American dream is being a homeowner,
That's
being
right.
independent and building equity and building assets. And so sometimes we need to know the process. And sometimes things happen, right?
That's right. That's right. Murphy's Law says if something can go wrong, whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
Right.
And that tends to happen, especially with people with their credit, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really an education so that people really just are able to understand what the process should be. You sent us some points that you wanted to cover, and one of your subject matter points for the day was staying out of the credit black hole.
That's right. That's right. When you have credit issues, it can feel like you're in a black hole. It feels like there's nothing that you can do to come out of it, and that's because most people don't understand the language of credit. They don't understand what it is that they're looking for, and the things that really affect your score and will keep you stuck in that black hole and keep you from being able to get the things that you want and need. And that's pretty much what the credit black hole is. And I want to try and clear the air today to try and get some understanding of what it is that's looked for so people don't fall into it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and credit is a process, and there's principles, and there's things that we need to do in order to get where we want to go. One of the first things that you said that we should do is find out our score.
Yes, I said that the last time I was here, and I really can't stress that enough. You can't fix the problem if you don't know what the problem is. So it's several places out there for you to go and find your score. One place that everybody should know is annualcreditreport.com. You can go there, you can get all three of your credit reports. You won't get your scores, but you'll at least get your reports, and you can see what's on your report. You can see what's going on with your credit situation, and it can give you an idea of what's going on so that you know what steps you need to take. There's also Credit Karma. A lot of people know of that already. You can go there for free. They won't give you the full picture because they only have TransUnion and Equifax. So they don't have experience, so you'll be missing that one piece of the puzzle, but you will get a good idea of your scores, where you might be close to, and what might be on your report. It's a place that I send my clients to. It's identityiq.com, and they have a really good credit monitoring service. There are plenty of those out there. You have to pay to have those, but those update every 30 days, so you can constantly keep up with what's going on with your credit. And normally they send you email alerts to let you know when something happens almost immediately, and that's the best way to keep track of what's going on with your credit on a consistent basis, and to see your score and know what's going on and know where you stand.
Good, good. Well, one of the things that, I learned and we know about you now, you're not just getting into this business, you qualified yourself, originally from New Orleans, got a degree in business, and you worked in the banking industry. And from having worked in the industry, you saw a need, and so you wanted to step out and create an opportunity so that you can serve people who need help in that arena. But you're certified. Tell us about that certification that you have to provide these credit services.
Well, I'm a certified credit counselor. Basically, what that is, I've been certified to be able to look at someone's credit situation, kind of help them and guide them through the issues that come along with that, that they might be going going through at the time, and just try and coach them on, you know, what they need to do in order to make those strides to get out of the get out of the credit black hole, and get to a better place as far as their credit goes. And most companies, a lot of credit repair companies, they might not have too many people that are certified as far as credit counseling. It's something that I decided to do to, you know, take the extra mile to try and make sure I had an extra level of knowledge to help my clients.
Excellent, excellent. So you're certified, you're the real deal in providing this information. One of the other things you wanted to communicate today is to know why you have different scores.
Well, that's another thing that's important to know. As you've probably seen and other people, if you go and check your score at different places, you see different scores everywhere. Where it all started from was FICO, Fair Isaac Corporation. They kind of set the standard for calculating credit scores for people, and they did it for banks trying to figure out, you know, who would be more likely to default within the 90-day period. Default by 90 days within the 2-year period. And that's where the FICO, that's where the score calculations came from. And most lenders, more than 90% of the lenders use the FICO score. But besides that FICO score, the credit bureaus, they wanted to have their own method of calculating scores as well, so that they didn't have to rely on FICO. So they each created their own calculation to calculate scores and, you know, calculate that risk factor, which is why you might see different scores on each one of those besides the FICO. Now, FICO also has different scoring models. So depending on what you're applying for, if you go to apply for a house, there's a FICO mortgage score. If you apply for a car, there's a FICO, you know, auto score. If you apply for a credit card, same thing. So it's important to know that when you go and apply for different things at different places, different lenders are going to use different things. They might use the FICO, they might use Equifax's credit calculation. You just never know which one they're going to use. So it's just important to know that they have different scores in different places, and keep track of your score and what's on your report, so that you have everything in order, so your score will be the maximum that it can be when you go to apply for something. That's
good. That's good. Wow. I'll tell you what, you're up to speed, man. I'm impressed. Wow. Okay. That's the kind of talent we got here on the video show. Okay. All right. This is something I hadn't heard. Understand thick and thin credit scores.
Yes, most people don't know what that is, but it's very important. A thin credit file is, I would say, most people that I see coming out of college have something like this. They might have one credit card, and they may have a car loan or something like that. And, you know, paying that on time, you would think after a certain amount of time that your credit would just be, you know, spectacular. But the way that it works, like I said, that's a thin file. And your score, the whole thing about your score, they want to know how well you managed debt in the past. And when they look at those two things, that's really not enough for them to make a good assessment. You might have a decent score with that if you have all your payments on time, but it's normally not enough. Now, a thick credit file would be someone who has, say, 3 credit cards. They have 5 loans, 1,000 here, 1,500 there that they took out in the past and paid off. They might have a mortgage, and they might have a car loan. Altogether, that's about, you know, 10 different things. And that's a thick credit file. And that, because you've had all those different types of credit, and, you know, assuming that you've paid on all of them on time, that gives them a better idea of how well you manage debt. So your score should be a little bit higher. Well, not a little bit higher, but your score should just be higher than someone with less stuff on their credit report. And it's another benefit to having a thicker credit file, which most people don't realize. When you do slip up and you have a late payment, those really hurt you a lot. And if you have a thick credit file, you have a lot of positive stuff sitting there to override that negative information that just got put there. So that late payment isn't going to hurt you as much as it's going to hurt somebody with a thin credit file who only has, you know, 2 things to override that negative information. So like I said, having a thick credit file is important because it will help your score, and it also helps as, you know, somewhat of armor to protect you when you do have mistakes that happen.
And so when you have a thick credit file, you know, just learn some new information today. When you have a thick credit file, that kind of helps to protect you, as you just said,
Exactly.
when life happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, real
Exactly.
good. Well, now you also talked about having an 850 mindset.
Yes. Yes.
You
Mindset.
got eight. Well, I only know maybe one or two people got an 800 score. You probably
Right.
know more than me, but go ahead, go ahead.
Well, with the 850 mindset, is basically just that, a mindset. In order to achieve things, you really have to have a mindset for whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, and that is the majority of achieving almost anything. Just like, for example, someone, a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard, want to win the lottery. And they say, if I win the lottery, I'll get all this money. I'll be straight. I'll be set. I'll be able to take on everything. My life will be good. But I just read not too long ago about someone who actually won the lottery. And when they did, they spent, I don't know how many months it was that they had the money, but they spent it all on a whole bunch of physical things. And now they're catching the bus to work. So basically they got all that money, but they didn't have the right mindset that they needed to manage that money and to properly use it so that they didn't, so that they didn't end up in the situation they ended up in.
Yeah.
And most people, won't win the lottery, but if you have a mindset for success, you can end up in a situation where you can have that much money on hand without having to wait on someone to give it to you because of your mindset. And the same thing goes with your credit. If you have if you don't have an 850 mindset on getting to 850 and maintaining the 850, you won't get there because most people, like I said, you have to have an understanding of what it takes to get there to the 850, and you have to gear your mind towards, I'm going to keep pushing until I get there, and then you will achieve that 850. And it takes some things like being stingy with your credit. Once you've had enough, once you've established your thick credit file, you shouldn't apply for a whole bunch of things if you don't need it, to keep your inquiries low. You shouldn't add people to your credit report, like co-signing for somebody, which is how a lot of people fall into trouble anyway.
Well, we got to run.
Yeah.
That's going to be our word for today.
Okay.
Our 850 mindset. We're going to be striving to achieve that. We appreciate that. One of the other things that you talk about also is credit, personal credit, and business credit. So, but please give Mr. Frazier a call so that he can talk to you about building your personal credit file, your business file. That's going to do it for us on this edition of Visions. Thank you. We'll see you next time.